What's going on, y'all? It's J Small Reviews here, back at it again with another video. Brought to you guys last video, big announcement for Easy versus John going down in the trenches, and now we go back to URL with another humongous announcement. This time of the God tier variety, and we do have New Jersey Twork versus Mook as the homecoming announcement. Now, similar to the other battle, just want to give my initial thoughts, what this battle means, what the stakes are of it, and a quick, initial prediction for it. Humongous battle, right? And when we talk about particularly with New Jersey Twork in the year he's been having, I think it's pretty clear to say that 2023 is the most complete and best year of New Jersey Twork's career. Consistency still has a lot of the top name value. He's going to have Hollow, Shoddy Hora, and Mook to close the year, which is a crazy top three, and that doesn't mention the fact that he has battled Chef Trez, one of the other best in the world this particular year that's been going off. Performance versus Next, Coffee, and then even some locally, some small circuit stuff. Twork has been everywhere, doing everything. And then as for Mook, this is his second battle of the year, which I always say when it comes to old God tiers, you give us two at least, maybe three battles, we're going to be as grateful as ever, even if for people that don't appreciate Mook's style or people that think he's washed and things of that nature. It still means a lot for him, a Lux to step out, even if you feel like they're actually some of the easier to beat. But But they somehow are valued as the God tier plate. The branding, what they do for the sport, and the legends that they are. First of all, they don't lose every time they come back outside, right? Or it would lose value. They end up winning a lot of these battles against greats, and when they do come out, if somebody does beat them, it elevates them. Everybody wins for the most part when we have a newer age star going up against one of these God tier plates. Either they hold their ground or a new star gets that new badge of honor, on their vest and ascends to a new level. So in terms of this Mook being outside, how is this not smart? Then you have to factor in the fact it takes place in New York. Once again, no matter how you feel on Mook's style, it's performance versus Geechee. Oh, lyrically, it's not what I want. All these things. This man is extremely difficult to beat on a big stage in New York City. Oh, it's bias. Who cares? Who cares whatever it is? It's a home game, so of course the crowd's going to be on his side, and he knows how to work that crowd to perfection. Obviously, it's the hardest space to take Mook in. I think, there's always, is Mook better on a big stage or a small room, this and that. At the end of the day, I think when you get in a small room, there's the empty room performance he had over Rock, but volume type setting, kind of what you saw against Big T in the Blue Room, I think that's when you're going to see kind of Mook be at his weakest. I think that's when the punches, the bar for bar, you can kind of see where the outdated parts in the writing are, and it's an even playing field in terms of angling, everyone listening to every word. I think that's actually the tougher spot for Mook, is that volume pit style setting, as opposed to big stage at home is what brings it all together. You're going to get Mook at just peak comfortability, the approaches that he wants to take, the angles that he wants to take. I don't think you're going to get too much of a straight, just bar for bar, punch it out Mook here, which is when he's not doing his best. When he's doing his best, he's tackling different topics. He's working the crowd in his favor. And then, I think that's just where Mook is at his best and why this makes it such a formidable fight. And that brings us to the Twork side of the equation, right? What is it that New Jersey Twork's going to do? And for me, the whole battle rests on his shoulders for the most part. In terms of it's going to be a win, it's going to be a loss, even the greatness of the battle. I think Mook is going to give you somewhere around what he gave you for Geechee in terms of what he did, right? Obviously, with Geechee, kind of pulled at some, I would say low-hanging fruit. I don't know what you call blaming Geechee for the death of Biggie. I don't, bringing up LA and things of that nature. You don't have that going your way. You have a great new era to old era conversation, right? And when it comes to Twork, he is the guy that has the higher peak performance-wise. He's the guy that has the higher peak punching-wise, that has the higher peak just straight lyrically. He says the better things, And he's the representation of explosiveness in the new era. So if you're going to send someone to beat a guy who's going to be extremely, like, the crowd's going to be in his favor, right? If you're going to go get someone to get Mook on a big stage, one of the hardest places to take the audience from him, why not take the guy that can really take the audience from anyone in any given stage? You know what I'm saying? This is probably the most explosive battle rapper that we've ever seen up to this point. Consistency, has he put it together to have a full career? What does he rank amongst the best? That's a completely different conversation, right? We could talk fully about his career, but just in terms of especially what he's been doing this year, but in general, we know that people will forgive Twork for so many mess ups. They will look past certain things because when he does get it going on a big stage, there's really no one that we've ever seen do it to that level outside of the Surfs and Hitmans, probably two the best big stage battle rappers in the history of battle rap. So many people are going to predict Twork, and I am myself, I'm saying Twork 2-1, but many people are going to predict Twork very clear 2-1, probably 3-0. And the thing is that straight ability-wise, he is 2-1 clear, 3-0 better than Murda Mook at this point in time. As I said, he does multiple things better, and even with the way he's gotten an angle punching and working with his rhyming pockets, he's even matching Mook in the things that Mook is kind of like the best at, right? The things that Mook is the best at in his game. But it's all about stripping away the power on the big stage, taking the crowd away from him. Versus Hollow, I thought he might run into a little bit of that, like, God tier, like, oh, they won't cheer as much, they'll make it harder for you. I thought it was like an 80% Twork, and I still had him clearly winning that battle. It looks like some of the problems that people have versus God tiers where they change up their game, saying too much when it's time for it, or that they're just not receptive. That doesn't really happen with Twork, although he went angle heavy in the third versus Hollow. He was punching his head off some rounds. He really had the crowd from him, and at no point did that battle look like it was anywhere close to really in danger, competitive. And that's what you want to see from a guy going into this matchup, where it's going to have to be factors of not just how good you're rapping, but if the crowd is actually going to try to hear you, you're going to have to be over good to make them respect you. And I think Twork is the perfect person to put in that situation. He's the most momentum he's ever had. He's looked the best that he ever has in ring. And while I think Mook is a formidable fight in New York, that's why I'm going 2-1. Maybe even 2-1 edge. I want to say comfy edge because I think Twork is going to end up getting that public consensus, right? He's going to end up doing what he has to do to win this battle. But even then, you have to, like I said, you got to overwin. All the things that would get you a win in other settings, you got to do that times 2 because it's just going to be that hard for people to kind of let Mook lose, right? But with that being said, as much as I do think this is, I've said it over and over, Mook in New York is as advantageous as it gets. I think it's hard to say anyone's just going to straight clear him, but if anyone can do it, it is New Jersey Twork, and that's why going into this one, man, I got him winning 2-1. That is my first, quick thoughts here on Mook versus Twork. Just solid. Cannot wait to see the rest of the homecoming card. Obviously, when that drops, going to have a full prediction video out here for the entirety of it. URL, and that's the last person to talk about in this battle. Mook, great battle for him. Twork, great battle for him. Can't wait to see what their face-off looks like whenever that's going to be coming out too. Obviously, we expect a little bit of ignorance, a little bit of jokes, a little bit of everything entertainment-wise. But as for URL, it looks like one of their last marquee event of the year. They're going to have rookies versus sophomores. I don't know why it's not called freshmen versus sophomores in December, but they do have these two cards on the way. I don't know if there's going to be a volume going down, so you could look at homecoming being the last big event for URL, especially big stage event to close out the year. And I'm beyond the point of saying, oh, URL needs a great event here to turn it around or put their stamp on it. I think it's pretty evident that no matter how you call it, even with some decent events, it's been a down year for URL. Other leagues have kind of just seized the opportunity this year. Will that continue into 2024? I don't know. Consistency is key, and that's what makes the Kings, right? So we'll see if URL doesn't get right back to being the number one, putting out the best events, doing things like that in 2024. Obviously, they put out the most events this year. We could say quality-wise at the top, they're lacking peak events. So if homecoming, say there is no saving or this and that or changing the huge perspective of 2023, but I do think going into 2024, why not end a year that people consider down with your best big stage event yet? Carry that into momentum, and then by February or March, if they're still putting it together, if they're still killing it, then you get URL talked about in a much more positive light over the next few months. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, who do you have winning Twork versus Mook, and who else do you want to see on this homecoming 2 card? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear y'all's opinions. But it's been J Smo Reviews again, y'all. As I said, like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna see you on the next one, man. Peace.